So my name's Taylor, and I'm from Ashburn, Virginia. And a year ago, I got back from a full-time mission serving in the Ghana Accra West Mission, located in West Africa. And it was one of the coolest experiences of my life. Ghana is completely different than the United States. It's a third world country. The villages there aren't very developed, and a lot of people live in farming villages. We spoke English there. However, a lot of people, especially in the rural areas, didn't speak English. They spoke a language called Twi. And so a lot of times we had to translate through members who spoke those languages, including Twi. And it was kind of fun to learn lingo, some of the languages, and a lot of the cultural differences that they have there. One thing that's really interesting about Ghana is that you only use your right hand to interact with people. Your left hand traditionally is considered your dirty hand, and it for like sanitation purposes. But now, as it's become more developed, and especially with Western influences, I mean that's no longer a problem. But traditionally they still use their right hand. So you'll even cross your body, or if your right hand is dirty or something, you'll even just shake with your wrist, and somebody will grab your wrist. You won't use your left hand for hardly anything. The food there is completely different. They eat with their hands there in big communal bowls. And to be honest, I did get sick quite a bit because I guess my stomach hadn't built up a lot of immunity against different viruses and diseases. However, I came to love the food, especially this food called fufu, which, if you can imagine, a big ball of bread dough, except it's not made out of dough, it's made out of mashed up plantains and yams. But it looks like a big piece of bread dough, and they pour a soup over it, and then they have meat floating inside, and you pinch it off with your fingers and just swallow it. You don't even chew it. And at first it was really hard to suppress like a gag reflex to be able to eat it, but I really came to love it, and I used to get it like daily by the end of my mission. And making it's a lot of like intense physical labor because they use like large poles to pound it, while somebody sticks their hand under between pounds to turn it into the right consistency. And a really interesting experience that I had in this tiny village called Abomusu, in my second area, about 3 months into my mission. There was a vendor, just one vendor in the whole entire village, that would sell food every evening. And so I went to go get fufu this one time, and I normally got chicken with it because it was kind of safe, and we didn't really know what was in other foods or how cleanly they were prepared. And the time I went, this one time, the lady said they didn't have any chicken. All they had was fish and beef. And since it was kind of inland, I decided to go with the beef because, it's a land animal, cows. I thought it was pretty safe. And so I ate it, didn't really think much of it, but a couple days later we went back, and the lady said, we have all the meats this time. We have fish, chicken, beef, and cow beef. And it kind of hit me. I'm like, wait a second. I did not know there was a distinction. I probably ate some foreign animal. I don't know, maybe like dog, cat, or grass cutter, which are these huge rodents that roam around the grass, like yay big. And to this day, I have no idea what I ate. Let's see. I mean, other things were very different there. Electricity isn't really a guaranteed thing that you have there, even though the houses are wired. The power goes out regularly, even if you're paying for your own electricity. Of course, if you're not, then it also goes out. And the water there isn't safe to drink, so we always had to filter our waters. On the street, you'd buy these bags of water that were half a liter, and you just bite the corner and drink it. It's called pure water. And we found some creative things to do with those things, like pure water dodgeball. on your P days. Sometimes we just have like big water fights. It was a lot of fun. Or like contests to see how fast we could drink it. We did a lot of fun things like that. We biked our entire mission. It was really hot there because it's just a few degrees above the equator. And we didn't have AC in our apartments. We learned to tolerate quite a bit of heat, which was quite an adjustment, especially when I came back to live here in Utah, where I'm at now, because anything below 70 degrees just killed me. One gospel principle that I saw exercised really in amazing ways in Ghana was how those people who accepted the gospel there, they were willing to sacrifice so much more in comparison to what we're used to, because they had they had a lot less means than we do, and they would give up reputation, entire ties to clans and tribes and their family, just for the sake of the truth that they know is true. And it was just amazing. They lived in such humble circumstances, and they knew that accepting the gospel wouldn't change that necessarily, but it would change them, and it would open the door to spiritual blessings, even though physical blessings weren't immediately promised. And from a first world perspective, that was just so foreign to me. But I came to appreciate all the things that I have and increase my own commitment to be willing to sacrifice whatever I needed to for the sake of the gospel.